Hey guys, it's Nimius. With Legendary Tiki having just been released, I've basically had this question on my mind all night. Is Legendary Tiki the best hero in Fire Emblem Heroes? I know when we talk about best anything, it's easy to dispute and argue for it, but I think in this case it's worth discussing. Taking a look at her stats and skills, it's all excellent, so let's talk about it. Let's talk about her strengths and weaknesses, but before that, let's start with what we can't dispute. Legendary Tiki has the highest BST in the game. The combination of being a young dragon and armored gives her a BST of 180, and with a personal weapon, she scores better than any hero in the game. While we already know that she scores better than any other hero, let's put it into perspective. Let's compare her to Noe, another young dragon who's also blue. As you can see, a fully built Noe who's arena built anyways, you can see there's a 10-point gap between the two heroes. That's kind of crazy, but to put it into perspective even better, you would need to merge Noe 3 times just to catch up to Legendary Tiki in points. It's just crazy how good she is for arena. The 180 BST and Legendary Weapon just makes her a perfect endgame hero. Alright, anyways, let's start with her weaknesses. The most obvious thing that kills her are Julia's and Deirdre's. These Naga users with their effective against Dragon Tomes hit her where it hurts the most, and most of the time they should be able to one-shot her, of course. That's all about green mages like Nino, but just how big of a weakness can this actually be is what I question. The reason I say this is because if we use her in tier 20 or tier 21 arena, Julia's and Deirdre's are increasingly rare, and they're becoming more and more rare for that matter. As you score higher, and you should be scoring very high if you're using Legendary Tiki, you actually might never bump into these hard counters against Legendary Tiki. So there may legitimately be nothing that can truly threaten her when you use her in arena. What is common in that you should be able to bump into that are effective against dragons are Falchion Heroes and Breath of Fog adult Tikis. But here's the thing, they're red heroes. The weapon triangles here works against them, and so she should be able to fight off and beat Falchion Heroes with her high defense. And especially when you keep in mind with everybody, or with everyone, when that skill's activated, she has 5 extra res, 5 extra defense, and it's really easy to set up. So even at neutral and without any other buffs, she should have 42 defense. Against adult Tiki, who can't even double her, it's kind of hopeless for adult Tiki. But against other Falchion heroes, 42 defense should be able to shrug off the damage. The only marginal threats I would say would therefore be Double Lion Elm and Legendary Marth. But with a little support and some tweaking on her build, she should not only survive, but beat those two. What I'm saying is, the current meta simply isn't ready for Legendary Tiki. That is, of course, until the current meta uses Legendary Tikis. Keep in mind, Legendary Tiki's breath is effective against dragons. So the real counter to Legendary Tiki in tier 20, tier 21 would really just be Legendary Tiki. That's kind of dumb, but alright. Moving on. I think the only other thing we can hold against her is her attack. While at neutral, she has 50 attack, which isn't bad. It's also not that high of a number. However, I would argue that doesn't really matter because the thing is, she has variable damage. Whenever she attacks ranged heroes, she's always going to attack into lower defense or res, thus getting the best possible situation and dealing the most possible damage. And against melee heroes, well, most melee heroes have lower res than defense, so she'll often do more damage anyways. Of course, there's always exceptions like heroes like Sheeta, which have higher res than defense, and, you know, Ellie would, but you guys get my point. So that's to say, even without having, say, 60 attack like a Raven or something, she should basically be just as effective, if not more so. Actually, that's more like a strength than a weakness. But, you know, this weakness list is going to be really short, and, well, it's actually over. So let's talk about her strengths. Legendary Tiki comes with possibly the best breath in the game, and I would probably argue for that. It's basically Expiration, but better. So, unlike Expiration, which is 16 might and distant counter, Divine Mist is 16 might, distant counter, and effective against dragons. And, well, she's also power creep Legendary Grima offensively, having 2 more attack, the same speed, and of course the better breath. And that's not even to talk about her defensive stats, which are even better. But that's comparing an armored hero against a flying hero, so, you know, that's a big difference anyways. What I am saying is, this allows Legendary Tiki to be far better in the meta, and as a result she can counter not just Legendary Grima, but more importantly, kill other Legendary Tikis. Yep, I think that's what the breath is really there for killing other Legendary Tikis. Outside of that, she also comes with the amazing Bold Fighter and Fierce Breath, which I think doesn't need much explanation, but I'll give a basic one anyways. Basically, when Legendary Tiki attacks, she'll always double. and when she defends, she'll have more attack. Basically, she'll be in a great situation whether she's attacking or defending, and that's on top of her getting very fast specials as a result. And that's not all, because she comes with one of the best C skills I've ever seen with everyone. Oh, this is such a broken skill. It allows her to buff not only her allies, but herself with defense and resistance by 5 simply by being next to them. That's insane considering she comes with 37 defense base just by having, and if you give her ally support too, which is another, further 2 to defense, 2 to res and other stats and so on. She comes with what, 44 defense, 36 res? It's just incredible how bulky she can get all of a sudden just by having a support ally there. And if you pair her up with her precious Marmar, and with Marv being such a heavy support hero as is, she could be unstoppable and she can clear out entire enemy teams, I would say. All of this means is basically building her is incredibly easy. I would basically just put Ether on her and a choice of assist skill and call it a day. And going back to her stats, I want to talk about the most interesting and unique thing about her. While I've heard people be upset and not like this aspect of her a bit because they think it's a bit too high or they don't like a high speed stat, I think it's ridiculous. Isn't she one of the fastest, if not the fastest armor hero in the game right now? What I'm saying is that increased speed, while not useful at all offensively because she has Bullfighter, is incredibly useful defensively. I believe Young Tiki is tied for the fastest or second fastest dragon, which is very good because if you can get a plus speed Legendary Tiki or give her some kind of speed support, she can prevent her opponents from doubling her pretty easily. If she can do that, she'll prevent a lot more specials from triggering on her, which I believe are about the only things that truly threatens her. And of course, once again, with everyone, as long as you have somebody right next to her at the start of a turn, extra 5 res, 5 defense, it's huge. So I don't think, the idea anyways was if she had lower speed, she would have more defense or res, but I don't think it really matters is what I'm saying. I think this is even better because having a fast armor hero is really, really unique, and she fills that niche perfectly. Okay, with all that said, she's amazing for Arena. She has so few weaknesses and so many strengths. I think Legendary Tiki makes her case for the best overall hero for Fire Emblem Heroes. But what do you guys think? Is Legendary Tiki actually the best? Let me know down below. Did I just say let me down? Sorry. Anyways guys, this was Nimius, and I hope you guys enjoyed. If you did, drop a like. And if you really liked it, subscribe. Anyways, have a great day guys, and bye bye.